Well, hello there folks, and welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time, then welcome to the channel. It's good to see you there. Well, today I thought, what should we do? And I thought, well, let's travel to a little bit of an area here in South Devon that I haven't really touched on before, and that is the area north of Dawlish, sort of if you look at a map on the coast between Dawlish and Exeter. Now, we've done Dawlish Warren before, did that over Christmas New Year week, and if you'd like to check back on this channel, you'll be able to watch that video whenever you like. It's a really good walk along the beach and through the dunes and a little bit of the history of the place. So we won't go there today, but I thought, yeah, let's touch on some of the other places that I've never featured on this channel before. So we're going to start off right here in Cofton. Starting off right here at Cofton Holiday Park, and as you can hear, they're cleaning the pools, ready to fill them for the season. This is a very nice place to come if you're into camping, caravanning, or if you like to stay in a mobile home. Nice pub here, nice club, a really nice swimming pool inside and out as well. Just occurred to me, why are there loads of women carrying babies towards the holiday park from the car park this morning? What's going on? And I thought, baby swimming session in the pool. Of course it is. Now, Cofton nowadays is really just well known for its holiday park, but there is a little bit of the old village as such here, and the main feature of that is St Mary's Church, which is here. Let's go and have a closer look at that. It's a really pretty old Devon church. Look at this, isn't it lovely? Never been inside this church before. Looks like it's pretty closed. What a pretty churchyard. Look at this. And the spring flowers out on the bank. Well, as I've said several times before on this channel, if you've got to spend eternity anywhere, there are definitely worse places than this. And the nice thing here is at Cofton that although it's mainly occupied by the holiday park, when you go up through that gate and up through the back, there's some lovely walks up into the hills as well. Some wonderful old gravestones here. And yes, you guessed it, this isn't the last church we'll be visiting today. And for those of you that like a little bit of history, this is St Mary's Church in Cofton, rebuilt around 1838 to 1839 by William Courtney of Powderham Castle, which we may get a glimpse of later on if we're lucky. He was the 10th Earl of Devon. So there you go, that's Cofton. Where are we off to next? Let's just carry on down the lane, and we're going to Cockwood. Yeah. So we've just come about a mile up the road, and welcome to Cockwood, and welcome to the Exe Estuary. The Exe Estuary is going to be playing a big part in this video today. So welcome to Cockwood Harbour, here it is. And unusually, it's full of water, because the sea here, the river here, is very, very shallow. The boats have to come through that very low bridge over there to get in. And for many hours of the day, these boats are just sitting on a sandbank or on a mud bank. They just have to get exactly the right time to be able to get out into the river estuary. So I looked at the weather forecast this morning, and they said, oh, it's going to be a beautiful day, sunny, blue skies. I thought, perfect day for getting out and doing a video, and it's overcast and misty. Well done. Never mind, I'm sure it'll go sunny just as we finish filming. That's normally what happens, you know. Anyway, right in front of us is the railway. This is the GWR main line between Exeter and Plymouth, and this is an iconic place for taking railway photos, getting especially when there's a steam special comes down, getting it across the harbour. Let's see if a train appears while we're here today. Yep, looks like one's on its way. Here he comes. Thank you. And thank you for the toot, much appreciated. And even on a bit of an overcast day, it's still beautiful, isn't it? So peaceful. Now, there are two pubs here in Cockwood. One here is the Anchor Inn, very nice on a summer's evening especially. You can get your pint and then come out and sit on the wall here and overlook the harbour. Very pleasant. And this is the other pub, and this is a bit of a sad story. Many times we've been here to the Ship at Cockwood, had some really nice meals there, and then in October 2023, after heavy rain, one of the cob, that's the traditionally built Devon walls on the side of the pub, collapsed after the heavy rain, brought down really half of the entire pub. Since then, it's been closed. Arguments over insurance and all that. Hopefully one day it'll become open again, but it does look a sad sight at the moment. A shame, because we've had some wonderful meals in there. And just opposite, with the geese flying over, Cofton Village Green. Very nice. We've been to a very nice summer fete there, where they have live music and put up stalls, and you can have burgers and beer, and very pleasant place to spend a nice warm evening. So there you go, that was Cofton. Where should we go next? Let's go another mile up the road and we're off to Starcross and a little bit of railway history. So welcome to Starcross, just up the road from Cockwood, and this is where you catch the little foot ferry across to Exmouth. It's a really lovely ride. Exmouth is literally over there on the other side of the river. It takes about 20 minutes on the little ferry. It's a beautiful ride. Hasn't yet started for the season, but it's going to be starting over the next week or two, as you can see on the sign there. And if you want to see this, there is actually a video on this channel. It's one of the very first videos I ever did about 7 or 8 years ago. And I thought about starting the video channel then and just let it rest, but that was the first one I did. It's a little bit rough and ready, but you can see the ferry ride across to Exmouth. And yeah, we will do that again at some time in the near future. And there you can see Dawlish Warren in the distance, out to sea, and a yacht that may well have seen better days. And I did say we'd have a little bit of railway history here in Cockwood for you. Behind me you can see a building that isn't a church. No, it's not a church. What is it? It's a pumping house. So what is a pumping house? Well, this is the only thing remaining from Isambard Kingdom Brunel's unsuccessful atmospheric railway experiment. Instead of using locomotives, the trains were moved by a system of atmospheric vacuum traction, with the air being extracted from the pipes laid between the rails by stationary engines at a series of pumping stations along the line, and this is one of them. The section ran from Exeter to Newton Abbot and was all completed on this principle. The trains ran at around 20 miles an hour. Well, it only lasted about a year in 1847 and 1848 before being converted back to conventional railway. So there you go, a little bit of railway history from Brunel's unsuccessful atmospheric railway. These guys are very vocal today, aren't they? Well, I'll tell you what, you can't get a railway station much closer to the water than this, can you? So there you go, that is Starcross. Just in front of us on the left is the Atmospheric Railway Inn. A little bit of a nod to the railway history of this iconic piece of railway line. And this is a great place to stand when you get the heritage trains coming down. You get a lot of those through the summer season here, coming down usually to Paynton or maybe beyond Plymouth into Cornwall, or maybe down onto the South Devon Railway at Buckfast Lee, or maybe down to the Dart Valley Railway at Kingswear and Dartmouth. In the meantime though, we have to put it with our little train here. This is arriving from Exmouth. It'll be heading off down to Paynton. It's a lovely ride though. So we've come about another 1.5 miles further north as we continue our little journey today, and we're just very close to Powderham Castle. I'll tell you all about that in a second. We're actually on the Exe Estuary trail, which is a wonderful cycle path. You can start at Dawlish Warren, which as you can see is 4 miles away, come up through Cockwood, Starcross, and then carry on this way, go up to Turf Locks, which is at the start of the Exeter Canal, and then it takes you straight into Exeter, which is now 6 miles away. There's a cycle path through there, and then it takes you down the other side of the Exe Estuary all the way to Exmouth. And it's a flat cycle ride all the way. Goes over the railway, over that bridge over there, as you can see, and then you're alongside the estuary. What a lovely way, if you like cycling, to make your way up the River Exe and back down to Exmouth. So peaceful here. We're just on the edge of the Powderham estate now, and we're going to be giving you a bit of a look at Powderham Castle a little bit later on. I don't quite know how close we're going to get, but we'll do it our very best. Now then, this is St Clement's Church, part of the Powderham estate, just alongside the estuary, which is behind us. Powderham, by the way, was originally spelt Polderham, which means the village of the marsh, and this church has been around since 1259, which in my money is 1 minute to 1, isn't it? Yeah. Many connections with the Courtenay family, who are the family, the Earls of Devon, who are based at Powderham Castle through the years. Let's just have a wander and see if we can find any interesting graves here. Here you can see some of the graves of the Courtenay family, the Earls of Devon. Here's George Henry Courtenay, died in 1910. And then Henrietta Courtenay, died 1817, or 1917 is that, yeah. Brigadier General Edward Reginald Courtenay, and then Catherine Laura Courtenay, all part of the Courtenay family from Powderham Castle. And you know what I'm going to say? If you've got to spend eternity anywhere, well, there are worse places than this. Now, I do remember last time we were here, which was probably a year or two ago, we found a couple of graves with German names. Now, I did Google it, and there was a little bit of an interesting story, and I can't find them. They're here somewhere. Well, carry on looking. No, I can't find them. Never mind. I'll come to that story another time. So we're going to return to the Powderham estate at the end of this video, but first of all, we're heading on up the lane, which is very picturesque, as you can see. Going to carry on up there. And the crows are objecting to me being here, aren't they, eh? And we're going to go to the lovely village of Kenton and tell you an interesting story about the church bells. So welcome to the very pretty village of Kenton. Kenton is on quite a busy main road, but it's very pretty once you get into the village itself. It's about halfway between Dawlish and Exeter, and the church in front of us was in the news a few years ago. I'll tell you more when we get there. Let's have a look at the very pretty little village of Kenton. There's a couple of restaurants here. One straight in front of us is a very highly rated restaurant called Rodine. Never been there myself, but our friends go a lot and tell us it's very, very nice. And then just behind us on the main road is an oriental restaurant called Chi. Tells you all about the heritage and the history of the village of Kenton here. Let's go and have a closer look, shall we? Pretty houses, which I'm guessing are alms houses connected with the church. Look at those old red brick houses on the left. Lovely, aren't they? And this, would you believe it, is High Street. Not in the traditional sense though. And some lovely colourful houses just ahead of us. Quintessential Devon, isn't it? And then opposite, the beautiful thatched cottage. Look at the colours. And then we go to the churchyard, third one of the day. And the 14th century All Saints Church. And another one of those churches with a really high tower, which is quite normal amongst Devon villages. And there's a bit of a story about this church that hit the news a few years ago. Shall I tell you all about it? Yeah, go on then. So you would think living next to this beautiful church is a beautiful place to live. Very peaceful, hearing the lovely church bells peal out. But in 2021, this church hit the news because the church bells were silenced. Now, why was that? After well over 100 years of ringing, one person moved into the village and objected to the church bells, and they had to stop ringing. As you can imagine, the rest of the locals weren't very happy about it. And when you Google the story to find out the outcome, it appears that the same thing happened in 2 other Devon villages at a similar time as well, although it wasn't the same person that was objecting. And of course, it even made national press. People were saying, well, why do you move next to a church if you're going to object to the sound of the church bells? Well, apparently the person who moved into a house very close to this church had a wife who wasn't very well, and she was having to sleep during the day, and he said the sound of the bells were keeping her awake. What the outcome was, I'm not entirely positive, but I think it was something along the lines of they fitted the bells with mufflers to deaden the sound a little, and also agreed that the bells would only ring during the daytime hours and that they wouldn't ring to mark out time through the night, which seems a reasonable compromise to me. However, I know that we've got quite a few local viewers to this channel from time to time, so if anybody knows any different outcome to that story, please feel free to pop them in the comments below, and then we'll let everybody else know as well. But there you go, the lovely village of Kenton and the beautiful Church of All Saints. Once again, some very interesting graves in this graveyard. This is Edward Mortlock Studd, Major General in the Army. He was a JP and also Deputy Lieutenant for the county. Talking about Deputy Lieutenants for the county, our very good friend Gordon, who lives just up the road from us, so you will have seen in some of these videos. He's one of those as well. You see, we've got friends in high places. So there you go, just a very quick look at Kenton, which is a village that most people just pass through on their way from Exeter down towards Dawlish and Teignmouth. So where we're going next, our final call of the day on this little trip, as we head north of Dawlish, we're going to head off to Powderham Castle. So here we are at Powderham Castle. Now, the castle does open to the public every so often, but it's not open to the public today. When they do have events there, you can go into the castle grounds and you can go around the building, around the house as well, and see the lovely gardens there. In front of us is the Powderham Castle Deer Park. There's a big herd of deer. They're way off to the right hand side, so the GoPro won't pick them up today. And behind there is the River Exe Estuary. You can just see the castle in the distance, middle of left on your screen. It's a lovely castle to go around, and this is the home of the Courtney family, the Earls of Devon. Look at the beautiful spring flowers. Very peaceful here today. I think it actually is open to the public today, to be honest with you. Shall I go in? Well, I'm on my own, I don't know. I think we might save that for a different video. I just spotted a very interesting little sign here. I just freaked out a pheasant there. And if you want people to slow down, well, here's a different way of getting them to do it. There's a slightly better view of the castle. Really lovely place here. And on the other side of it you have the River Exe Estuary and the railway, of course, which is ever present along this stretch of the Devon coast. So here you are, the beautiful Powderham Castle. Now, this was originally began in 1390. It was then expanded in the 18th and 19th centuries. Since then it's been the seat of the Courtney family, the Earls of Devon. The ground has got extensive grounds here. They're used for a lot of music events. We've been to the Let's Rock Exeter festival here, which is a day of 80s band, which is fantastic. And this park has also hosted concerts by artists such as Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Little Mix, Bryan Adams, Tom Jones and more. And the current Earl is Charlie as they call him, the 19th Earl of Devon, is or was married, I'm not quite sure, to the American actress AJ Langer, who appeared in Baywatch. No, I don't think she has been seen running around the grounds in her red swimsuit. We also came to a very nice cider and cheese and general food festival here a couple of years ago, which was fantastic, very highly recommended. What a great place to have some artisan food, some local beers, and look at the scenery at the same time. And after you've been to the castle, you can go to the very nice farm shop and the gift shop. There's a very nice garden centre there as well, and a very nice cafe restaurant where you can have your lunch. And with that, we come to the end of another video. Hope you enjoyed our little journey as we travelled north of Dawlish, between Dawlish and Exeter. Only one place we've really missed out, and that's the village of Exminster, which is the last village before the M5 and before the city of Exeter starts. Exmouth is a very nice village, a lot of new housing there, probably not too much of interest on this YouTube video. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you're in this area, it's worth travelling up this little bit of coast and having a look. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one.